Hey, it's Tim Bratz. Today, I want to talk to you guys about how to find off-market apartment building deals. It's a super hot market out there right now. Everybody's saying go and build broker relationships. That's not how we find our apartment buildings. We find off-market, direct-to-seller deals, and I'm going to go over a bunch of strategies with you in this video. All right, so let's talk about how to find off-market apartment buildings. First, before we get into that, I want to share some fun facts with you. I got these facts from the Housing and Urban Development website. They're as of the end of 2017, so they didn't have it updated as of 2018, 2019, or 2020. But these give you statistics that were 3 years old about how many apartments and units are out there right now. So it doesn't include anything that's been built over the past 36 months. There are over 20 million multifamily units in the United States. And the largest single owner of apartments is actually right here in Charleston, South Carolina. It's not me, unfortunately, but soon, one day, right? And they own over 500,000 units. These are actual apartments, right? So this isn't a number of properties, it's a number of units, number of doors that they own. And even with the largest single owner having over 500,000 units, that's about 2.4% of the total number of units out there. What does that tell you about apartments? What it speaks to me about is that this is a mom and pop industry. There's not a lot of big, gigantic institutions buying up all the property. It's a lot owned by mom and pop, people who bought a property, they hold on to it for 20, 30 years, and then they end up selling it or passing it down. But it's individuals who own a lot of these properties. That's good news for people like you and me. So let's break down how many actual properties this is. There are over 2.5 million properties between 2 to 4 units. So I'm talking duplexes, triplexes, and quadplexes. Then there are over 684,000 properties with over 5 units. So anything 5 units and more, there's 684,000 properties like that. I'm only talking multifamily. This does not include storage facilities, office, retail, warehouse, anything like that. It is only multifamily apartments. Out of those 684,000 properties that have over 5 units, 43,000 of those properties have over 100 units. Here's the crazy part. You think, oh, that's actually not that much. It's only 43,000. How am I supposed to go and get my portfolio, which is over $400 million worth of property? I only own about 65, maybe 70 different properties. That's it, right? And I own over 400 million. So here's what I'm gonna share with you. One property, one of those 43,000 properties can change your life and your financial future forever. So imagine not only getting one property, what if you got one property a year for the next 5 years? What if you got one property a quarter for the next 5 years? What if you got one property a month for the next 5 years? You can see the different varying scales of what you can do and what you can accomplish and what your financial outlook would look like if you did accomplish those goals. So how do you find these deals? Well, I'm going to share a handful of strategies with you on how we found a bunch of different deals that you could find in your own backyard. Strategy number 1, using your actual email list, your Rolodex that you already have. Whether this is in a CRM system and it's all organized, or it's in an Excel spreadsheet, which is how I operate, or it's just a stack of business cards collecting dust in a drawer somewhere in your office, go and grab those business cards. There's people in your network already that you already know, already doing business with, especially if you're in real estate. And what I did is I just added all these people into essentially a database. I just used an Excel spreadsheet. I put their name, their phone number, their email address, and some notes on who they are into an Excel spreadsheet. And I created this big Rolodex over the course of several years. Every business card I ever got, realtors, brokers, agents, contractors, vendors, suppliers, anybody that I did business with or didn't do business with, but I got their business card, I would put into this Excel spreadsheet. And I ended up, just firing out an email one time to this list, and I said, hey, I'm looking to buy some apartment buildings. If you know of any apartment buildings, please send them my way. And all of a sudden, I got an email back of saying, hey, I know about this deal, I know about that deal. and I wasn't asking people for deals, and so that's why they were never sending them to me. But as soon as I started asking my network for deals, all of a sudden, deals started flowing into my inbox. So go out and build your email list with all the different single family brokers, investors, wholesalers, flippers, everybody out there who's out there doing deals already. What I've found is many of them come across commercial real estate deals, but they don't know what to do with them. They don't know how to underwrite them. They don't know how to value the property. And so they just discard those leads. What you can do if you're seen as an authority or as an influence in that space, they're gonna start sending you those deals. And you stay top of mind, get them to send you those opportunities, and then you can kick them a wholesale fee, you can pay them, kick them a little bit of equity in the deal. However that ends up looking is up to you, but it gets deals into your inbox because you are the expert in multifamily real estate. Another place I've sourced a lot of deals is through the local real estate investors associations, landlord associations, and going out to those meetings. Connecting with people that are there. Sure, there's a lot of tire kickers that go out to some of those meetings, but there's a lot of players that go out to those meetings as well. And there's a lot of deal flow just by the proximity of the people that you're around, and all of a sudden you're gonna fall into some deals. There's gonna be wholesalers and bird dogs out there who can source opportunities for you, and you just let them know that you buy apartment buildings. There's gonna be other mortgage brokers and real estate attorneys and CPAs in the room who aren't maybe actively out there sourcing deals, but they come across deals all the time because they have clients. They represent clients that own apartment buildings that are looking to potentially sell. So make sure you get plugged into your local real estate investors association, whether there's a local group like that, a landlord association. You can check out meetup.com, M-E-E-T-U-P, meetup.com. Plug into Facebook and look for other real estate organizations in your community. And if there's not one, start one, right? Be the leader, be the authority, connect people. And because you then created that organization, you're gonna be seen as the leader, and they're gonna start bringing deals to you even more because of the value that you've created for your own local real estate market. Dialing for dollars. So this is something we used to do all the time on the single family side. We used to pick up the phone and call for sale by owners and say, hey, would you have any interest in selling your house to an investor? I'm not looking to list it, I'm looking to actually buy the property. So we still do that with apartment buildings, but instead of calling for sale by owners now, we call for rent by owners. So I'll look up a property that has an active listing for rent and say, hey, I'm not interested in renting your apartment, I'm interested in buying the entire building. Do you have any interest in selling? And we've gotten a lot of deals come down our pipeline from that. Driving for dollars. Just like there's houses that are distressed and they have tall grass and boarded up windows, there's apartment buildings with tall grass and boarded up windows. And you can go and drive for dollars up and down different streets in your own local market where you're looking to invest, and then go knock on some doors. Find out who the owner is. Go knock on the neighbor's door. They're gonna gladly tell you who the owner of the distressed building next door is because it looks like crap. You know, they don't want to look at that all day. So they'll gladly give you the contact information for who that owner is. Ooh, here's a good one. Vendors. These are the people who work for or work on multifamily properties on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. I've gotten so many deals and have had so many conversations with my landscaper, who not only cuts the grass at my properties, but all these other apartment buildings as well. And he knows who those owners are who are looking to sell. Same thing with my coin-operated laundry guy. He goes around and services coin-operated laundry at apartment buildings, at multifamily properties. And he knows all the different landlords. He knows all their contact information. He knows who's selling, who's not selling, who's distressed, who's not distressed, what the occupancy is in a lot of these buildings. And he sends me deals. Why? Because I tell him, hey man, if you bring me some deals, I'll pay you a fee and you'll still maintain the coin-operated laundry at that facility. Right? How does that sound? Oh, it sounds pretty good, Tim, thanks. You know, and I'm buddies with them. I'm having good conversations, we're grabbing lunch, we're hanging out, we're grabbing coffee, and making sure that I'm developing those relationships so that when a property does come up for sale, Tim Bratz is top of mind. Why can't you do that in your own local market? You absolutely can. Management companies, reaching out to different management companies. What do management companies care about? They don't want the headaches of absentee landlords, of people who don't take care of their properties, they're just slumlords, and they want to still maintain the residual aspect of managing that property. So when I contact management companies, I say, hey, If there's any headache landlords that you're dealing with right now that you want to get rid of, why don't you broker the deal? You can earn a fee. I'll maintain management with you, and I'll actually take care of the property. I'll invest in the property and make it so it's not a headache for you. How's that sound? It sounds pretty good. Checks all the boxes and solves a problem, most importantly, for what the management company is doing. So think about that. How can you solve problems for all these different individuals who are working for landlords and help their business grow by also them bringing you more deals? My exterminator goes around. He knows all the buildings that are infested with bugs and have roach problems or have bed bug problems or whatever. Do I want those deals? Not necessarily, but when I hear that there's a landlord who's not taking care of their building and it has a big bug problem, that automatically, there's dollar signs going off in my head, right? Because that means there's an opportunity there to go and buy it at a low basis, buy it at a discount, and then clean it all up, hire the right people to get rid of the bug problem, fix, renovate, clean up the property, and all of a sudden the value increases significantly. So don't think that you need to run from those types of properties. I run toward a lot of those properties because that's why we've been able to create so much equity in our deals in an appreciating market. Direct mail. Just like direct mail works for houses and finding motivated sellers in the residential world, it works for landlords. Just like that person over there who has a single family house has a mailbox, so do I. So do all the other landlords. We can get direct mail. I can count on my hand how many pieces of direct mail I've gotten for my apartment buildings in the past 6 months. I never get it. Versus going to a single family house and you walk in trying to buy a single family rental and there's a stack of postcards on there, right? On their kitchen table. We don't get that much mail. So send some direct mail, spend a couple more bucks because you're not sending out tens of thousands, you're sending out, a few hundred or maybe 1,000 pieces a month. You can spend a few more dollars in order to get the attention of the landlord. But direct mail still works. Delinquent property tax is another good one. Just like you can look up houses who owe money on their taxes, you can look up buildings that owe money on their taxes. And you can actively hunt for those different types of deals because you know that they don't have the money to pay their property taxes. Guess what? They probably don't have their occupancy that they need in order to cover all their operating expenses. They don't have the occupancy needed to cover their mortgage payment. They don't have the occupancy to kick off cash flow. That means you can probably go into a property like that has delinquent property taxes, negotiate with the seller, get a deep discount on that deal, improve the property, increase the value, and create millions of dollars of equity in that deal. I make it sound simple, right? And it is simple, but it's not easy. But why not reach out to some owners with delinquent property taxes? At least put it out there, connect with them, let them know that, hey, I notice your property taxes are delinquent. You looking to sell that building? Yes, no, maybe. I don't think you can say the wrong thing to a motivated seller. The most important thing is just swinging the bat. Social media networking. You know me from social media, right? Like the reason that we're even connected is through social media. It shows you the power of social media. So why aren't you talking about you buying apartment buildings on social media? People who know me, they come up to me and they say, hey, dude, I know Tim buys apartment buildings. I know he's into personal finance. I know he's into entrepreneurship. I know he's into lifestyle, because that's what I talk about on social media. And I'm not trying to be like a secret agent investing in apartment buildings where nobody knows what I do. I tell everybody, right? If they don't know what you do, how do they know to bring you a deal? So I'm always asking for deals on social media. I'm always talking about buying apartment buildings on social media. I'm always walking apartment buildings on social media and creating content around apartment buildings on social media. It is a fantastic tool to grow your business. It's great from a social aspect and hanging out and networking with your friends and staying connected on that side too. But it's an amazing, amazing tool that costs nothing to grow it for your business. Make sure you're using social media the right way to then create content around apartment buildings to then generate some deal flow and generate some passive investors. Building department violations is another good one. You can go down to the local building department and they'll have a list of every property that has some sort of violation on it. And where my office building is, you can actually go down there and they rate all the different buildings. It's A, B, and C, and D. And the C, D properties, they're hounding all the time. So they'll gladly I mean, actually, in this community, they actually give me the contact information for those landlords, for those owners, and we reach out to them directly. Why? Because they want good landlords in their town who own property, take care of property, create good, clean, safe, functional housing for their community, and not have to chase them because the building's falling apart, not creating a liability for the city because the building's falling apart. So go to your local building department and see if you can get a list of all the different properties that have violations on them. And then this last one, I think, is gonna be a big one as we move forward. Right now, as I'm filming this, there's an eviction moratorium going on across the country. So landlords cannot evict for non-payment of rent in many communities, most communities across the country. This has been going on for several months. A lot of people don't like that idea. When I think about it, I think of opportunity. I think of, why don't we go and hang out at eviction court? Because there's gonna be a lot of motivated landlords down there as soon as this opens up. They haven't been collecting rent for months. The tenants are gaming the system. They're just spiteful, right? They're just upset, they're angry. They gotta pay legal fees, court fees, attorney's fees, go and deal with this whole thing. Probably sit in a waiting line because there's gonna be a waiting line out the door of all these evictions that are going on from all these tenants who haven't been paying rent. So what does that look like? That means they're not gonna be able to evict their tenant for probably several more weeks, maybe several more months, depending on what happens. And who knows from a political standpoint, whether or not they'll extend the eviction moratorium or not, and what that all looks like. Then they take the property back if they can. They have to renovate the property. They have to probably store stuff or throw stuff away from that's inside that unit. After they renovate it, they have to give it to a leasing agent. The leasing agent then rents it all out or sits on it for another month while they're showing it. Finally rents it, you get some income coming in, but then you got to pay the leasing agent. So you're talking about months, if not years, of not collecting rent, and not only not bringing in income, but expending a lot of money in order to just go through that entire process. There's gonna be a lot of motivated landlords at eviction court. And even if the landlord's not there, their property manager will be there or their attorney will be there. And even if that landlord's not looking to sell their property, by developing relationships with those landlords, with real estate attorneys and with property management companies, you'll be able to at least network and say, hey, maybe they're not selling, but who else do you know in your network who is looking to sell some apartment buildings right now? And you'll be able to get into some rentals at a deep, deep discount because these are motivated sellers. There's a laundry list of motivated sellers right there at eviction court. Make sure you're going there and you're hanging out, pass out your business card, whatever you got to do in order to network with all the people who are there at eviction court as soon as the eviction moratorium is lifted. So that's 10 strategies I just shared with you, and not one of them said go and make relationships with commercial real estate brokers. These are all strategies to find off-market, direct-to-seller opportunities in the commercial real estate world. So if this was helpful for you, please comment. Give me your favorite strategy down below. Like the video, please share it. You know, if you know other people who are looking to get into apartments, I'm sure they'd really appreciate this information. So share this with them and hit the little notifications bell because I have a lot more stuff coming out, not only about how to find apartment buildings, but then how to raise capital, how to operate them, and how to structure these deals so that way you can build some legacy wealth. So I hope that's helpful for you. I appreciate you. Go out there, find some deals, tell me all about them.